Do we like hair to the side, hair down? Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Eve and I'm so happy to have you here with me today because I'm doing a recent reads video. Some might call it a wrap-up. I'm calling it recent reads because I know a lot of people do that and it seems to go over better than the word wrap-up. I'm not sure why, but I figure that since I haven't been so active on this channel or even my Bookstagram, that it's kind of a great idea for me to just knock it all out, talk about what I've read recently in one big video. I will be reviewing these books, I will be talking about them, I want to hear what you think if you've read any of them, so leave a comment down below. I'd love to chat with you, and we're here for the long haul, so grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, water if you prefer, always stay hydrated. Let's get right into it. So this is in no particular order. This isn't in chronological order or like the order in which I read them. This isn't in any particular order, just whatever they are stacked in right now on my nightstand. So the first book is A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. And I got this as a recommendation from Phoebe and Ashley's podcast, Read It or List It, and I highly recommend that podcast if you are looking for new books to read. Particularly they have some amazing romance recommendations, and this is a romance novel. This is my second ever mass market paperback romance novel. I read a first mass market paperback and I absolutely hated it. You can check out that video up here somewhere, it'll be a card. You can definitely go check out what I thought of that, but this one was a surprising winner for me. I very much enjoyed reading it. I thought the romance was excellent and well written. I loved the main character, Naledi. I thought she was fantastic. I thought she was so strong, and I really enjoyed kind of seeing her as she gains confidence in herself and in her relationships throughout the novel. I thought Alyssa Cole did a fantastic job of that. This was my first ever Alyssa Cole book. I know she has plenty of them, but if you haven't heard of A Princess in Theory, so this book stars Naledi Smith, who is studying to be an epidemiologist, which is a doctor of infectious diseases. A little on the nose for the pandemic we're in right now, but so she also works during the day as a server at a fancy restaurant, but she's been getting these annoying emails that she's betrothed to an African prince, and she just dismisses them automatically, like, no, I don't even want to think about this. This is, you know, BS, it's a scam. But one day, a very, very handsome man shows up at Naledi's job. P.S. He's secretly the African prince that she actually is engaged to. And he shows up at her job. She doesn't know he's the prince, but he starts to fall in love with her and she starts to fall in love with him, and the romance continues from there, but she doesn't know who he actually is. Naledi's got some stuff in her past that we will figure out along the way, but this is just a fantastic, well-written book. I would highly, highly recommend it for you if you are into romance. If you're not, definitely steer clear of this one because it's definitely a romance novel. Okay, so my next book is Evvie Drake Starts Over by Linda Holmes, and this is probably one of my favorite books that I've read this year. Evvie Drake Starts Over is about Evvie Drake, who is a recent widow of a star doctor. She's living in Maine. She's trying to figure out her life out. She's trying to come to terms with the emotions that she's going through since being widowed, and she's got some hidden secrets that we find out about. At the same time, Dean, what's his last name? Dean Tenney, a former MLB star pitcher who has recently come up with the yips, which means that he used to be able to pitch really well, but now he can't pitch and nobody really knows why. He moves to Evvie's hometown, town that she's living in, and their mutual friend decides that Dean should move in with Evvie. And so basically the premise of the book is just getting to know them and getting to learn their relationship and them learning about each other. It's a very wonderful character study of kind of both of them and how anxiety can influence a person. If you know me, if you've been around, you know that I struggle with anxiety, and I think that this book definitely focuses on that as a theme. It also focuses on grief and loss and all of those, and I can't describe why or how I've come to love this book so much, but I've read it twice now, and I just simply cannot articulate how much I love this book. I love the characters. I love that it's set in Maine. I don't even know why I like the writing style so much, because it's kind of like, you know, if it's not average, I would say it's extremely above average, but I bet if some random person picked this book up, they'd be like, okay, it's fine. But for some reason, I feel so completely compelled, and just, I don't even understand why I love this book so much, but I love it, and I'm begging you to go read it. It's so good. Switching gears a little bit to a book that I did not love, The Sparrow Sisters by Ellen Herrick. So this is a very atmospheric book. It follows three sisters in their New England seaside town, and one of them possesses some sort of magic. It's never really explained or talked about that much. She's kind of just seen as the local healer, and she has a thing for plants, so she can heal people using plants and herbs and recipes, and that's kind of her whole thing. But when a new doctor moves into the town, they get in a little bit of a fight because he doesn't believe in her magic. She thinks he's full of crap and her magic is real. But there's a sudden tragedy when a little boy passes away. Was it due to her plants? Was it not? There's a big lawsuit that the book kind of revolves around. And I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was fine. I didn't love it. I got this book as a recommendation. I was searching for like fall atmospheric books, autumn books, you know, themes like that, because I was doing a series on my Bookstagram. Didn't last very long, and I'm so sorry about that. But this one was recommended as an atmospheric fall novel, and I totally can see why you would think that, but I wouldn't recommend this as that. I think it's great for people who like Hallmark movies, not Christmas movies, but Hallmark like regular movies. It's good for people who like the series Good Witch. If you like the series The Good Witch on Hallmark, you will absolutely adore this book. I don't love the series Good Witch on Hallmark, then I didn't love this, but I think it's perfect if you are like maybe just stuck in a rut and you're looking for a little bit of magic. I would get that through a Disney movie, but some people might get it from this book. Okay, so the next book that I read was The Simplicity of Cider by Amy E. Reichert. And if you can't tell by the way that I'm smiling, because this book just makes me smile how much I loved it. I loved it, this book so much. So it centers around a cider brewery slash apple orchard. It's set during the fall, and there's a father and a daughter who run this apple orchard, but they're struggling because you know, people don't really know about their ciders. They don't really come very often to visit the apple orchard. That's really never talked about. And a water park company is trying to buy the apple orchard. They're struggling to survive. They're wondering if they should take that offer. Suddenly, a little boy and his father roll into town. It's kind of very circumstantial, like the way that they come into town. It's just like he starts thinking about apple orchards, and he's like, I should go to this town. The dad, not the little boy. So he meets the daughter and they start falling in love. The dad falls in love with the daughter who runs the apple orchard. I feel like that might be a little confusing. They start to fall in love. It's wonderful. They're trying to save the apple orchard. She's got some kind of magic power that allows her to see the color of a cider. It's all very wonderful. And it's atmospheric in the best way as compared to the Sparrow Sisters, I thought was just lengthy and dense. This is not at all. This is very much a romance, but there's a little bit of drama. There's everything that you're looking for if you need a fall, like just a fall kickstart. If it's gross and dreary outside like it is today, I would highly recommend that you pick up The Simplicity of Cider. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought the characters were well written. I thought the plot was it wasn't so complex that it was hard to follow, but it was simple enough that it was easy to follow, and it pulled me right in. It wasn't like, it was well balanced. It was excellent. I truly enjoyed it. It read like a, I don't know, it read like a movie. Is that weird? I read Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I bought it. I didn't rent it from the library. I bought Lock Every Door by Riley Sager because everyone and their mother has been talking about how amazing Riley Sager's books are. I disagree. I really didn't like this book. I don't know. It's hard for me to talk about because I know I'm gonna get hate about this, but I don't know. I just really didn't like this book. I thought, I guess I should give you a short summary like I've been doing. So Lock Every Door follows Jules, who gets a job as an apartment sitter in this big New York apartment building. And she has to follow this list of extremely strict rules. Like she can't have anybody over, you know, she can't have anybody over, she can't leave the apartment for a night. There's just, it's like weird rules that I thought maybe she should have taken heed of. And she starts to begin to do a little digging about the past of this apartment, and suddenly one apartment sitter goes missing, then another apartment sitter goes missing, and she has to uncover why they're going missing, what's going on. And then you find out what's going on. And it didn't do it for me. The plot twist in this book did not do it for me. I don't know if it's that I don't love like urban horror. Is that the thing? Like urban horror, like Rosemary's Baby and stuff like that. I just didn't like it. I am reading right now all of the amazing reviews and blurbs from the Associated Press, from BuzzFeed, from R.L. Stine, from Ruth Ware. Like, I don't get it. I just thought it wasn't that good. And like the book, okay, I should mention that the book is dedicated to Ira Levin, who wrote The Stepford Wives, which I read for my film class and absolutely adored. I loved that book. I thought the twist at the end was fantastic. I have seen both movies, didn't really love either of them, but I thought the book was fantastic because it gives you like the right amount of suspense to keep you going, but it doesn't take you too far to the edge where you're so scared all the time and can't look up from, you know, you can't look back down into the book, you know? Like it's a page turner, but it's not super scary. And it has a twist at the end that is, I think, fantastic. It's also very ambiguous, which this book spells out everything for you. Like you don't get a spare minute to just think about what's going on. He doesn't give you any breaks throughout this entire book. And I feel like because I've been taking a film class in horror and I've been writing papers about horror, that there is a delicate balance in a horror movie and in horror and suspense-filled books. This didn't have that balance. It felt like you were going all the time. And then you get to the twist, and because you've been going all the time, it doesn't like lead you somewhere. It doesn't shock or surprise you like a twist should. And maybe that's not your opinion, and I'm glad if you liked it, but I did not, and I would not recommend this book. So I read Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren. This is my second Christina Lauren novel. I read Autobiography first, and this is my second one, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. I mean, it was a cute little romance. It's about the daughter of a very famous like movie star who is trying to, she's trying to keep her secret fatherhood. She's trying to keep her fatherhood a mystery, but suddenly it gets leaked when she's in London on vacation. Then there's a 20-year time jump. I'm not explaining this very well because it's kind of a hard book to explain because it doesn't take place in dual timelines, but half of the book takes place during her teenagehood, and then the other half takes place when she's like a famous actress, and the love story kind of combines those. So that's all I'm gonna say, because I think if I give away too much more, I think you should go into this book without knowing a lot about it, because it will surprise you and it will you know, it'll reel you in a little bit more. If I gave you everything up front, I feel like there wouldn't be much left with this book. You know, some books I can tell you the plot and you're still like, I want to read that. You know, surprise, shock, twist, you know. But this book isn't really much like that, so I'm not going to give you very much to go off of. I would recommend it if you like Christina Lauren books. I think this is a perfectly good romance. It's not the best one I've ever read, but it's not the worst one. And you know, it was good. So my next book is Next Year in Havana by Chanel Cleeton. And if you know me, you know that Stories for Coffee, aka Olivia, her recommendations are always just spot on for me. Like, she always just manages to hit me where you know, she knows it hurts. And this one got me. I cried. This one was fantastically written. It's amazing. It takes place dual timelines. It's a historical fiction, historical romance kind of vibe. Dual timelines, a grandmother and her granddaughter, and you know, there's a beautiful backstory of Cuban history along it, and it's wonderful. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't really know what else to say about this other than I love historical fiction. I think we know that here. And if you like historical fiction, if you liked the Alice Network, if you liked any Ruta Sepetys novel, I think you would really enjoy this one. So definitely enjoyed. I would give this 5 out of 5 stars. And I almost dropped it. Okay, so my final book that I'm going to talk about is In the Woods by Tana French. I got this as a recommendation from Ashley, who loves this is part of a series, I believe, called The Dublin Murder Squad. And Ashley from Read It or List It recommended this, and you know, she always gives such great recommendations that I was like, I'm gonna love this. No fault of Ashley, of course. You know, sometimes books just aren't for you. I mean, I think, okay, I'm gonna say that if you like detective novels, not mysteries, but if you like detective novels, you will love this. This is a fantastic example of a detective novel. It follows Rob Ryan, who is a detective on the Dublin Murder Squad, who is investigating a murder that took place in the same woods that 2 of his friends were killed in like 20 years before. Oh, maybe 3 kids were killed. No, 2. Sorry. I read this a while ago, so I'm not gonna give you the best plot summary of it, but I can tell you how I felt when I was reading it. So this book did keep me wanting to know who the murderer was. Like, it kept me going until the very end, but to be honest with you, I still don't know who the murderer was. Like, I feel like that's a terrible thing to say when it's like the whole thing that, I don't know, the ending was just extremely confusing. I didn't love Rob Ryan. I thought he was kind of a sexist pig. I thought his partner, Cassie, she is just like the epitome of the, it's like every Zooey Deschanel character ever. I'll write it up on the screen. Oh, Manic Pixie Dream Girl. The epitome of Manic Pixie Dream Girl. And I hated Rob Ryan. I don't really know what else to say, but if you're on this channel, I think you wouldn't like this book. If you've come across my videos, if you like my videos, if you know what I like to read, you know, Next Year in Havana, Evvie Drake, those kind of books that I loved, Where the Crawdads Sing, like those are the types of books that I love. I feel like you wouldn't really like this. Like, especially after, I think I read this right after I read the Truly Devious series, or at least the last book in the Truly Devious series, and honestly, no mystery can compare to that. I don't know why I tried to, but yeah, I did not like this one at all. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's partly like how confusing it was and how I still don't understand who the murderer was, like, you know, a few weeks after reading it. I don't know. Wasn't a fan. Also, it looks like it's gonna snow today and I've been kind of distracted by that. I hope it snows. Do you guys like snow? I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day / night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.